the things that I've said over and over again is that I believe that at this moment we are in a struggle for the soul of our democracy. And listening to you gentlemen here today, it just reiterates it. I've said many times to reporters that one of the reasons why we wanted to raise this on a bipartisan basis and raise these issues early is because we wanted to avoid some problems in the future. Can you all help me with that date? So on one side of the date, I guess we are still in a sort of twilight zone, but once you hit that date, certain things happen. Is that right?
Well,
once you're sworn in.
Here are the risks. There's the constitutional risk of emoluments. That if there are any foreign government payments flowing into the Trump Business Organization, he's in violation of the Constitution on day one. So that problem absolutely has to be resolved. There is a global security risk if we have the president's name up on buildings. That exists right now. I hope President Obama is taking appropriate measures to make sure that we do not have Trump installations around the globe subjected to terrorist attacks. To the extent we can control that, working with foreign governments, that's going to be a vast expense. So that risk is right now. The quid pro quo problem. Anytime anyone combines discussion of Trump business with official United States government business, there's a risk of the inference of a quid pro quo, which is solicitation of a bribe. We cannot have a situation where a foreign diplomat calls up the president-elect or anyone else to try and conduct relations with the United States, and the question comes up, well, how about those ugly windmills that are too close to the golf course? Whoever goes down that road with those types of conversations could get themselves in a situation where they appear to be soliciting a bribe. Obviously, after January 20, people are now in power, and that could be a lot more powerful, more convincing criminal case that could be started if someone started to talk quid pro quo. We've got a whole range of problems that exist right now. They're going to be a lot worse after January 20. Of course, he may take some time to sell off some of the businesses, and we'll just have to live with the risks until he does. But I hope it's as soon as possible.
Yeah, I want to argue for pragmatism. We can't tell him to have a fire sale. I mean, that would be wrong. So we will have to live with several months of emolument clause violation. One antidote is for Mr. Trump to put all of his profits from foreign government expenditures that he is entitled to by virtue of his own investments into some charitable entity. I mean, if he is not profiting at all during that interval, that's a solution. But frankly, you know, if Mr. Trump said today, I will completely divest before summer, I'll take it. And I'll live through the interval happily.
Just as soon see him start the process. As a technical matter for any other appointee, this would not relieve of the conflicts, but it would be a huge message to the American people and to the world if he signed that piece of paper. I'm appointing an independent professional as a trustee. Take everything, sort it out, and I'm going to focus on the business of the United States now. He can do it with the stroke of a pen. He can do it today. And that's a simple way to address the January 20 problem. Otherwise, we're going to be in this extraordinary situation of immediate constitutional violation as soon as the president takes the oath of office, if he doesn't take remedial measures. That is unprecedented in the history of the United States.
Well, Ambassador Eisen, I want to just follow up on some of the things that you were talking about when you were talking about the Russian situation. I agree with you that there are those who are arguing that there's question as to what the Russians were trying to accomplish, what their motives might have been. My position has been clear. The mere fact that we know it happened is enough that should alarm every single American because it affects all of us. But let me go to Los Angeles Times a while back, had a statement, and it said, I quote, Trump has sought and received funding from Russian investors for his business ventures, especially after most American banks stopped lending to him following his multiple bankruptcies. Now, Mr. Painter, how should Congress obtain the details about Mr. Trump's funding from Russian investors?
Well, you would get a lot of it from the tax returns. The problem is that he has to agree, like every other president, to make that information public. If he does not, I have urged that there be an amendment to the financial disclosure rules, as I outlined, where you specifically say this is what I am getting in terms of income, this is what I owe to people in Russia, directly or indirectly. I don't care if the debt's at the corporate level or at the personal level. And by the way, on the current 278, it's only the personal debt that is disclosed. The debt at the corporate level doesn't have to be disclosed, and that's where the real estate people put most of their debt because they don't want to be personally liable. So we don't know who is owed what. It's not on that 278. We don't know by country. I think you may end up having to amend the disclosure statutes if it comes to that. But the president should be voluntarily disclosing what every other president has, which is his tax returns, and we would know that information if we had the tax returns. And the American people entitled that information as well.
I'm sorry. If you're looking for remedies, you can't require the president to come to Congress and testify, but you can require all of his executives and the Trump organization to come to Congress and testify. And you can ask them about those questions.
Well, we were trying to do that. That's one of the things that we had asked Chairman Chaffetz to do, to bring folk in so that we could begin to address these things early, and we haven't heard from him.